Hi, everyone. So I already know a few of you, so I think it will be not really a surprise about what I'm presenting today. So for the people who don't know me, my name is Arnaud Denisot. I'm the founder of Bali Drone Production. So we are based in Bali, in Indonesia. So of course, for people who don't know what is Bali, is a beautiful beach, white sand, blue water, and rice field. I think there is a worse place for walking. So my presentation is the impact of the LiDAR for a small company. Because 2 years ago, when I was searching about prospecting about the LiDAR, I was watching all the video on the internet about the LiDAR for drone from YellowScan. And in the night when I was in my bed watching the video and I was dreaming about maybe a new product like this, I was always thinking, all people, all of you look like very smart. You are searcher, you are scientific, you are a big company, you have a very big budget sometimes for buying the tools that you need. But how about normal people? How about people like me who just start a new company? So when I searched some kind of video or information, it was very hard because no one really speak about how to develop a company or what's the beginning of the adventure. So it's why I wanted to maybe fill this gap today for maybe some new people who will watch this video or maybe come here and have some doubt about can I make the business working or will I make some money with this? So it's why I was thinking to make maybe this presentation. And also, of course, to present the mission opportunities that we get with this new tool and the job that we finished in the past. And of course, maybe give some motivation because when you are on the age to invest in a big amount of money, sometimes you have a doubt and you feel like, okay, maybe I will cancel. No, better I stay on my position, on my safe life. But believe me, it's worth a shot. I have to give some disclaimer because actually I'm based in Indonesia, so in Bali, just here. And this country is full of opportunity. So we have a very nice field of work. It's a wide country, ready to develop. We have many opportunities for working. We have a lot of forest to mapping. So it's completely different than maybe European country who already developed, who have already many map of the city or everything. So maybe this experience, what I will tell you is maybe different from other country. It will be also different for the tax, for the law. So of course the result and the efficiency that maybe you will get on different projects will vary, of course. And of course, if you are a small company, you always have a risk maybe to fail. But without risk, there is no success. It was what I learned. Because when I was in France, and I was ready to go on the trip, it was a big risk. But to be honest, until now, I never regret. So, to give you an idea, before, I was not inside this business. I was IT engineer working in Paris, métro, boulot, dodo. So, yeah, I was on normal life, just doing my job in Paris. And every day when I was going to my job, I saw people gray, you know, like bad face. Already tired at 8 a.m. So I was thinking, is it the life I want or until 80 years old? What I will tell to my kids or to my grandchild? I was working until my end of the life, and I have no story to tell. So it's why in 2016, in June, and actually it's my 6 years anniversary tomorrow, I create a Bali drone production. So I took my backpack and my Phantom 3, and I just quit everything. I go to Indonesia. I cannot even speak one word of English. And I made my company over there. Okay, so we get so many jobs. So we start with special events. Bali Drone is specialized for video production, photography. So we do real estate photo, special event, wedding, TV commercial. We had so many projects, beautiful projects, because Indonesia is a very wonderful country with a very nice landscape. So actually it's easy to success. And later, so I wanted to do something else. So because I'm from IT, so I love technology, and the LiDAR after really interests me. So it's why we start in 2020 MSDI. MSDI stands for Mapping Services Drone Indonesia. So how it starts? For the LiDAR, in the beginning, I was not aware about this technology. And I was already doing some topography, with photogrammetry, GCP, simple job. And one day I got a client. He come to me and he say, I have a big land, 100 hectares in Sulawesi, and I need a mapping. Okay, but before we do the job, I need to get some information about the land. Is the land covered by vegetation? And they say, yes, it's full of wild forest. I say, okay, we cannot with my technology, so we have to go on the LiDAR. Actually, the LiDAR, it was something I heard before, but nothing really, I don't know too much about this. So I did some research quickly, and I said to them, yeah, okay, we have to go on this technology, but of course we will have maybe to subcontract, or okay, no problem, let's see. And I contact some company, and they give me a quotation. And when I get the quotation, I say, oh, wow, what the fuck? It will never go. I'm sure it will not pass. And I say, well, you sure it's this price? You not forget 1 0, huh? So, okay, let's send. And well, I don't have too much expectation. And the client came back and say, okay, let's go. Okay, I think I missed something in a drone business. So it's why I start to do some research. So at this moment, it was 100 hectares, and the price, to give you some number, it was about $18,000, something like this. So it was 3 or 4 years ago, so it was better price than a bit now. But yeah, it was big money for when you come from a small company, and also from mostly the video production. So it was a big amount. And so immediately, in my head, it made tilt. I said, wow, I think there is something to do. So if we have this kind of money, we don't need too much project to refund, to get a return of investment. So I was imagining like, it's like a rocket ready to go to the moon, but we just need the ticket, So the ticket actually is a LiDAR. And of course, to buy the LiDAR. So after some, how can I say? To find some budget, some investor, and asking some friend, we get finally the money. And we start with a simple setup, a Trimble for the GNSS receiver. We book the wonderful YellowScan VX15, and we use the Matrix 600 Pro. So for a small company, the investment is quite huge. Before, when I saw this price, it was mostly for a house or apartment that normally you get a credit on 10 or 15 years. But I was thinking, okay, it's different for company. Maybe it will be different. Maybe we can refund on 2-3 years. More recently, also, we acquire an hybrid UAV to try to also come more closer of maybe the airborne project. So why we choose the VX15? As a small company, you want to get everything from your equipment. You want to use 100% of your equipment. So you have to make the right choice of your tool. So actually, the VX15 was a sweet spot between accuracy, speed, and price. He has also the high precision and echo, and a wide, so all of these points give you a wide range of mission capability. So this equipment is very versatile, because I don't want it to get limitation with the hardware. Because, let me explain. If we are going on a surveyor, for example, which is faster, 300 points per second, okay, we will fly faster, we will cover wider area, but we have less accuracy. Maybe I will lose some job for archaeology or city mapping, I don't know, many. So actually, the only limitation is the time, and we have plenty of time. So it was not a problem. Actually, if we fly slower, actually, we can even get the same result of a surveyor or something like this. It just needs more time, but we don't have hardware limitation. Of course, YellowScan is durable and reliable. Is why I go on this brand, and I choose them. And of course, it's easy to use. We press the green button. No? The yellow button, of course. The software suite is just amazing. When I present for the first time the software to my competitor, they were thinking I'm an alien. Before they use a software, like they need for the same export of data, they need like 1 hour, 2 hours. And me, I just take the USB, I just put on my computer, export, you adjust your stripe, click, that's it. So it was really very good, and also very easy to start a company with this kind of tool, because it's very easy to use, and it already removes a lot of stress that you don't need when you start a company. Also, I choose this equipment because I do some research. I did some research about the equipment of my competitor. And actually, no one has this equipment. And it was a big marketing point to say, okay, today we are the only one in Indonesia who have this platform. And actually, only 15 pieces in the world. But yeah, it was a big point to not follow the competition. Because maybe the competition is wrong. Maybe all people now is going on the GIL1, and maybe tomorrow they're all wrong, and we will be here waiting for the client. Of course, this is a world-famous sensor, thanks to Regal. They have decades and decades of experience. And of course, it's always better to say that we have a French or European product made. It will be always in a world a better, how can I say, feeling from the client to know that we have a Western, American, or European product. And also, I was a bit, can I say, loving French, so it's why I choose a French product. So the mission. So in 2020, of course, there is a corona hit, and no one really passed through the corona, so it was already, it was much lower my expectations than, of course, my planning. But actually, I'm quite happy because, to be honest, the LiDAR saved my company. The video production was mostly linked to the tourism, so the villas, people who is coming to Bali for making video. Everything of this shut down. So actually, I got the LiDAR right on time, just before the COVID. So we get the LiDAR, it was like December 2019. I came back in Bali on January, and the corona just hit the world in February or March. So in 2019, we got 9 projects. We covered approximately 1,300 hectares during these years, plus 66 kilometers of corridor. So corridor, it can be, we did for road development, power line inspection, many things. And to give you some number, for this years, we had a gross income of 60K USD, which actually was almost the same amount of the production hours at the best time. In 2021, it was a very nice year. Indonesia start to open again the border, so people are more confident on the new project. So actually we did 28 projects. We covered approximately 12,600 hectares and 182 kilometers of corridor. But this number is just made with only 3 people. So actually in my company, there is me, my pilot, and sometimes a driver that we use on the field. So I think we are quite good because I saw some company in Europe, or they even cannot really reach this kind of amount of superficie. But yeah, it was very challenging. We got also very hard terrain. So actually this number is quite good when we know the condition in Indonesia, of the field, of the travel and everything. I think we are quite close from the limit. And in 2022, so until now, so 6 months, we already accomplished 13 projects and cover 8,000 hectares, plus 5 kilometers of corridor. And for the moment, we are at 130,000 gross income. So actually in Indonesia, we are very lucky because we have only 10% of tax on the company, plus very low expense for the salary and everything. So actually this kind of amount is not cut so much. That's why you have to see with your own company, because I know in Europe maybe it will be much different for the tax. So for the mission, like I say, we did some power line inspection. Of course, the kid is always very curious about the drone. We have very nice picture and video always with the kid. Is always make people happy. The VX is just awesome for the power line inspection. We have very nice results. You can see all line, all the tower. Even we can see the base, the bottom of the tower, which is very important for some of my clients because they need to know if there is no corrosion or missing part on the bottom of the power line. You can see here again some export. So with the power line inspection, we run some reports. So the software is able to detect the vegetation around the power line and give some warning with some number, like we can say like, okay, give me a warning if the vegetation is less than 5 meters, less than 1 meter, and you will get the warning with a color. So it's very powerful and very useful for the government. Road development project, so mostly for the corridor again. So this one was in Labuan Bajo. This project was 35 kilometers. We just did in 2 or 3 days. Basically, for the corridor, we split the flight by 3 kilometers maximum, so 2.5 to be safe. And after we move to another point. So this is some output, just the LiDAR and the LiDAR with colorization. My first job, actually, when I came back in January 2020, 2 months later, we get the first job. It was 1,300 hectares for a mining development project. So it was very challenging because it was the first time I really used alone without YellowScan the equipment, so we don't have a space for mistake. So it was very challenging for the first project. Another project like 5,000 hectares for mining development. So we did in 11 days of mapping for a total flight of 105 flights. Like you can see, the condition over there is very, very hard. We have a small tent in the middle of nowhere. We have some friends sometimes who come to say hello to us. On the right, on the left over there, is a bathroom. So very nice place for taking shower. We even did some night mission to reduce the time on field. Very challenging. So another 5,000 hectares. More recently, I just did like last month. Actually, YellowScan yesterday. Maybe you saw on the computer because I was a happy customer who did the beta test of the cloud station. And to give you my point of view, it's just amazing because for this 5,000 hectares, maybe I need like 2 or 3 days of rendering or exporting the last file. With the new software, I just need 1 hour. So that's it. I don't need to tell anymore. Also, we did some in-house ground mapping because, of course, the LiDAR is a 360 degree field of view of the LiDAR. So actually, we don't wanted to do that. But it was for airport. They wanted to restore the tarmac, the runway. So we had a lot of limitation for the permit, and the client also has a very limited time to process the mapping. So we say, okay, let's go. We put on a car, just buy some suck cap, and develop a mounting bracket quickly, and let's try. Actually, we were very happy because we get some 3 or 5 centimeters accuracy with the ICP we put on the ground. So yeah, it was very, very nice. And very happy about the result. We did also some monument conservation. So this one is a Borobudur temple in Jogja. So this temple is under UNESCO. And actually, there is too much visitors who come to the temple. And this visit broke the temple, so because all the visitors, they want to touch the stone and everything. So UNESCO give a warning and they say, okay, if you don't do anything, we will remove the temple from the list of the UNESCO. So Indonesia want to take some solution to reduce the amount of people on the temple, but not to limit the culture, you know. So they decide to virtualize, to do a digital twin of the temple, and after give access in a museum with a 3D goggles, so people can visit the temple without to go inside and damage the monument. So to process, we did 2 different. We try also. We did a try actually to handle the LiDAR. Walking on the front. Well, the result was not so good, but but hopefully we did some flight at low altitude with a drone, and the result was much better. We did also some photogrammetry, of course, but with a different drone because we need to do some oblique photo. So we set up many GCP on a temple. And actually, it was a quite interesting project because this project will be shown on a TV later this year because it's a very huge project for the government. And maybe even the president of Indonesia will speak about this project inside a TV show. So it's why we have a TV channel who follow us on the project. So this was some output from the mapping. not so bad. But actually it was, this one is not exactly the final output because we're still running on the project. Is not exactly the final output because this video was in the middle of the project. I forget to make a new video. I don't know why this one is not starting. So yeah, this is a mix between the photogrammetry and the LiDAR. This is why we have a very nice shape and sharp edge. Actually, we even didn't expect to get the engrave on the wall because there is normally another team who come with a manual LiDAR and photogrammetry sensor that they take every single panel. No, if this one is, oh yeah, this one. And this one is only the LiDAR. So actually, we got two requests. One mostly focus on the temple, and the second also on the more wide area to maybe discover some old lake surrounding the temple. So actually, it's quite interesting because the temple, when you arrive on site, is even not look like on the top of a hill. It just look like flat area. But after, when you run some vegetation and classification, vegetation classification, you can see that actually the temple is built on a hill. And before Indonesia started the restoration, this temple was completely underground. So they cut the mountain to discover the temple. Also, another exotic project. Recently, I don't know if you follow MotoGP, but we run again a digital twin of the circuit. So actually, if you are a player of PlayStation and you go on MotoGP 2022 and you play the circuit Mandalika in Lombok, actually the file will be from me. So we did a LiDAR mapping of the circuit. It was about 120 hectares. We did just only 3 flights, plus photogrammetry. So after we send the file to a company named Milestone, which is the developing studio developer of the game. From the LiDAR, they generate all the map to simulate the most accurately possible the shape of the circuit. So like this, the simulator is very, very accurate, and it gives the best experience for the player. Very interesting project. So actually, of course, we have the impact of the money on the company. So thanks to the LiDAR, compared to a normal production house, we double, maybe triple the income of our company. But actually, there is one point that I want to put under the light about the impact of your work when you use LiDAR. So for Bali drone production, when you do a project and you finish the project, what's the result? Okay, you make one client happy. He has the video, he's happy, he has the family, you have the memory for your wedding, I don't know. But what's the impact actually? Okay, we have one client happy. That's it. And we all know in Facebook now, you see a video, okay, nice, you just slide, and in 2 minutes you already forget. But what's the impact of the LiDAR? From MSDI, it's completely different. The result, yes, okay, it's again one client who is happy. But the impact, it will be maybe thousands of people happy. Because you develop road, because you give access to people to a village, you develop real estate, you give maybe plan for a new hospital. You give food for people because every time we go on a project, we use local people for help us, porter, local driver, everything. So this also help family to give food and everything. Work, we give, maybe in 3 years, I think we give work on maybe 200 people, more than 200 people, because of the projects that we bring from the LiDAR. And of course, we give some study or teaching sometimes because people is always curious, so we always happy to share our knowledge about LiDAR and everything. So this, for me, I think is one of the most important parts, that actually with the LiDAR, you work on different scale of project. You work for the future. You work for something will stay. You will be happy like next year when you work on the road development, when you will use this road and you will see all people using this, you will be happy because this will stay for century. So yeah, it's completely different, like the video production or something like this, because the impact on the life will be completely different. So I hope this small presentation will give you some light about the small company, the work on small company. Of course, like you saw, I have so many projects actually I want to speak, but limited time. And actually, I want to thank you,